Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season X. We are here for the 10th season of Tier 2 in EXFL. And just like Tier 1 got the treatment last season of calling their 10th season the X, so will Tier 2. They deserve it. And we are back, 22 races once again, but we are not starting the season in Bahrain. We are here at Albert Park, Melbourne, for the Australian Grand Prix, round 1 of 22. And we have 16 drivers. We will have one more joining in the next 10 minutes or so to make it 17 for the season opener. And yeah, a lot of changes in the off-season. Some new drivers, some returning drivers for this 10th season of EXFL Tier 2. And let's start off with someone at least who's out on track. Before that, let me quickly lower this. Can barely hear the cars. But finally, after over a month of no racing in EXFL, we ended the season in the last couple days of November in 2024. We're in 2025 now. And let's start off then with the Constructors' Champions of last season. Morgan is alongside a new driver, Stelios, in the Alpine. And they are certainly going to be one to watch to defend their title. Morgan, after the world champion of Seb last season got promoted, and the runner-up of Oren got promoted. And Smolnik, he left the league. We hope and wish him all the best in the future. But those three are out at Tier 2 now, which leaves Morgan, really, to be the favourite, considering he was the highest last season of those who are here now. And his teammate Stelios has talked that he is pretty good around one lap. But come race pace, like is always the case in Tier 2, it's a lot more closer. There's prone to be a lot more mistakes. So we'll see what they can do. Can I have an invite? Yes, we will get you in. There we go, right. Final checks. And, right, so we've gone through Alpine. Right, RB. We have Nathan and Bluey. Two drivers who are certainly going to want to come through the field a bit more. Obviously, they finished towards the bottom half of most of the races last season, so I'm sure they'll be hoping to get more points on the board. It is an overcast day here in Albert Park, but it shouldn't rain. As for the race, still have no idea. Probably should be dry because no one's freaking out in the chat. Aston Martin then. We have drifting, moving from Alpine to the British team. And alongside him is Warren. But Warren isn't racing tonight, unfortunately. But that is a very strong lineup for Aston Martin. For Mercedes, Eggy stays where he is then for the German team, German driver, and he is certainly a favourite for this season. And alongside him, Lee also staying. Mercedes, the only team to retain their lineup from last season, as Lee slides on the inters round the final couple corners. And we'll see what he can also do, as his race pace proves a lot better than quali pace since his return in Austin last season. For the Williams, we got Ridian, who's also going to be up there, hopefully. Feeling a bit unwell today, but he's still powered through it to race, which is great to see. And Laser Gamer joins him as well, who's not a bad qualifier, as he showed last season, but his race pace and racecraft, he still has to work on. Let's see if he can get it right this season. And then moving on to McLaren, we have Carbro staying where he is, and alongside him, Christian. I think actually maybe McLaren also retained it. There was a bit of a shift last season, but anyway, Christian showing that he can definitely get some solid points from last season and can carry it maybe into top fives this season. Sauber, as Josh Hewitt acclaimed the IP total last season, he got the penalty of not being able to choose his team. He ended up with the Sauber in the end, and alongside him will be a new guy called Frankie, but he's not racing today. I think he broke his controller or something, so he'll have to get a new one. But we'll see what Josh can do as he leads the pace at the moment. It's very close between Josh Hewitt, Ridian and Morgan. After Sauber comes Ferrari. We got Chubster moving from Sauber up to Ferrari. Goes P4 at the moment. He is alongside Callum, who retains his Ferrari seat but is not racing tonight. In the Red Bull, this is the big one. the return. Oh my, big slide there. Last season we had the first ever Tier 2 champion rejoin of Gekkeberg, and after 10 seasons now, as we hit the 10th, we have at the halfway stage our Tier 2 Season 5 world champion of Thies, as he heads into the pit lane, and he's gone full circle. He's joined the dark side. He raced for Ferrari, fighting Red Bull for championships, and now you see himself in the Red Bull. And let's see what the Tier 2 Season 5 Dutch World Champion can achieve. He's currently 8th at the moment. Got a lot of time to find and pace to find, not just today, but throughout the season. And alongside him will also be a new driver called Enric. But he's not racing today, unfortunately. But I'm sure we'll see him next week. And as for Haas, no Haas drivers of the official lineup racing today. Frosty Life and Marine, they're unfortunately not racing. So instead, we have 2 new reserves of Adam, who's being coached by a Tier 1 driver of Uri. And I'm sure that will hopefully go well. He's going to probably start at the bottom, but make his way hopefully further up and up. And literally joining today, Sam L in the Haas, reserving. And the only other driver I've mentioned is Yonder. He joined EXFL as well. He's the first reserve, but he's also not racing today as he feels a bit unwell. That is the grid and the reserves. That is the 17 drivers at the moment. And that's already taken a third of the way out of qualifying. Ridian then closes to within 36 thousandths of Josh Hewitt. It's close, like we always love it in EXFL Tier 2 qualifying. So let's see, we've got Morgan just a couple tenths behind. Chubster in there as well. Christian top 5, like I said. Eggy lacking a bit of pace at the moment. But I remember a couple seasons ago he got a podium around here. So we'll see what he can do. And towards the end of last season, he resparked that kid after about a season of not really getting the results he would have wanted. He got a few podiums, and if we take away the people who got promoted, maybe even a first win is on the cards. Carbro as well in 7th. These still in 8th. Laser 9th. Drifting down to 11th now, but obviously hasn't done a proper time yet. As Adam goes to 10th. Around 3 seconds off the pace. That's where about he was estimated. Maybe even 4. So that is pretty good from Adam, considering he only just got the game, I don't know, a week ago. And Lee obviously hasn't really done a proper time yet. We're still waiting for Enric. Oh, Enric is racing today. What am I on about? I mentioned that he wasn't. So yeah, he is there in the Red Bull with Thies, making his debut. So we got Stelios, who's also been projected to be up there. Probably the best rookie at the moment. So we'll see what he can do. A 17-1 is the time to beat. He will cross the line, and he will be the first man into the 1 minute 16s. A quarter of a second ahead of Josh Hewitt. So Stelios looking good in Albert Park for the season opener at the moment. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 new rookies today. Sam, Enric, Adam, and Stelios. Seems like there may have been a bit of contact between Laser and Eggy. At least side pod wise. But anyway, let's see who's on lap. Sam round the final corner, opening his DRS, cross the line, reserving in the Haas today. A 16.9, the time to beat, crosses the line. It's a 16.909, and he takes provisional pole. The rookies are showing up, and by 28 thousandths, he is now on provisional pole. This qualifying, obviously, is one of the most important and exciting qualifyings of the season. It sets the whole season up. Right here, these 18 minutes can determine it all. Obviously, it will shift here and there, depending if, I don't know, a bunch of factors. If people just don't like Australia, if they really like Australia, if they've just got the game, if they're new. But right now, the front row is an all-rookie front row. As for the 2 other rookies, again, Enric hasn't done a time yet. Adam has done 1 time, 3 seconds off. We'll see what Josh Hewitt can do then. Into turn 1 then. Let's take you through a lap of Albert Park. Fast flowing in the first 2 corners. DRS open. 1 of 4 of this track. Probably, I think, the most DRS zones of any race on the calendar. Into turn 3. Heavy sweeping as across the line goes drifting for P6. Swinging through turn 4. And now 5. Flat out. Going over the curbs. Trying to shave off any thousandths. Finishes the first sector. Has found nearly 2.5 tenths. Sweeping through 6 and 7. It's so easy to go wide and get a warning here. But now you are foot flat to the floor for about the next 15 seconds. Through the kinks. DRS open. Hugging the inside lines. Now through one of the fastest sections of the entire calendar. pretty much nearly flat, but it's so easy to lose the car. DRS open for a final time, at least up until the start-finish straight. Now one of the most difficult corners on the track, 90 degrees, one of the newer ones, but he's taking that very nicely. Ferrari gets out the way, 3 corners to go. Right, left and right for Josh Hewitt. Heavy braking into the final 2 corners. So easy to lose the rear and mess up the lap. It's make or break round the final corner. It's about confidence. Get on the throttle. DRS open for the Sauber across the line. Can he snatch back provisional pole in Albert Park? Yes, he can. Josh Hewitt, with 7.5 minutes to go, takes back P1. And he is certainly going to make amends for last season. Probably his worst season in EXFL Tier 2. Remember, he joined back in Season 2. Had glimpse of hope in Season 3. Challenged for the championship in Season 4 and lost in a soul-crushing way. Season 5, he returned to try and repair some damage. Didn't work. 6 and 7, wasn't really too much there. Got a podium in the end. 8, he was thereabouts, but he just didn't really have the look or consistency. As Eggy now goes on the front row, and we're seeing times improve. It's getting so close throughout the order, and I've been told by Morgan, thank you Morgan, it's a dry race, so that's good for the drivers. But yeah, Season 9, Josh was there here and there, but he just didn't really finish the races. Got a bunch of pens. He's got to work on that if he wants to really challenge this season, and right now he's starting it off well. So yeah, the usual suspects who we thought would be up there are up there. I was expecting Morgan to be a little higher up there, but again, I think he's only done the 1 lap. Drifting as well, I was also expecting him up there. But he's still top 7 as he weaves temperature into tyres. Remember, some rule changes for this season. The tyres are not surface only anymore. They are surface and carcass, so temperature will matter. Getting the temps in before they start their laps. As across the line goes Enric for P5 on his debut as well. Really impressive stuff. 3, 4 and 5, all rookies. But yeah, so they're going to have to be important, especially in pit stops as well. Undercuts and such are going to be much more difficult to pull off. So those who can, it'll be even better and more impressive. AI has been turned from 60 to 70, just in case anyone disconnects, they don't lose as much time. Formation lap is now on, because as much as this game gets hate, it's probably the best game in the last 5 years in terms of you start a race and there's actually no issues. No one gets disconnected, there's no safety car glitch. We've had none of that last season. So we thought, why not bring the formation lap back in? Give us a bit more hype. That way when the lights go out, we don't have to, look through the chaos and look who's on what tyre and whatever. We can do it in bits and it can work its way up. But yeah, at the moment, with 5 minutes to go, Josh Hewitt then into the 16s, 41 thousandths ahead of Eggy for the front row. And this is literally anyone's game. I think it's going to be probably a shock whoever gets pole. There's not really any one driver who's definitely going to get it. Maybe Stelios, because he's only done 1 lap. He can find a bit more time. But drifting around the final corner then, he might be going again. He's flashing, so he's out of battery. He crosses the line, and it's a 17.2 to move himself a bit higher into P7. So, top 10, all covered by under 8 tenths. Thieves struggling at the moment. It is his first race back in a couple years. 1.1 off the pace. But obviously, there's 22 races ahead. It's a long season, and he's got a lot of time to try and build his way up through the field. Thieves versus Laser. That's going to be a fun battle. Carbro finishing the first set to them is 2.4 seconds down, so he's clearly not doing his lap. The only drivers yet to do a lap are the 2 RBs. Challenge for the championship this season. It would be historically amazing if they could do that this season. But yeah, Bluey, who's been around 3 to 5 seconds off the pace last season, probably his closest rival will be Adam, and Nathan will definitely beat Bluey, but we'll see how close Nathan can get to the likes of Lee. And the only other car at the moment is drifting, because everyone else is gearing up for their final runs in qualifying. Enric's already out on track. Brand spanking new tyres. And we'll see Josh Hewitt now exit the pits into turn 1, followed by, I believe that is Laser. So Nathan begins his lap. Maybe a bit of traffic of Ridian right there, but hopefully didn't bother him too much. Heavy braking into turn 3 then. Locks up a little bit. And looks like he's made a nice RB helmet. Looks very nice in the blend with the red, blue and white. Finishes the first sector then. Let's see what he can do. 27-1. Flicking it right. Then riding the curb over left. And then again, foot flat to the floor for about 10-ish seconds. Bluey also entering turn 3. Just trying to cope. Nathan will finish the second sector split. He's got 2 cars in front of him. Who are about to begin their lap, so hopefully they'll get out of his way. Nathan abiding the track limits, keeping well within the confines of the racetrack. Josh gets out the way, heavy braking into 90-degree corner. You want to take a little bit of that yellow and green curb, but not over the red. Kicks up a little bit of grass. Don't really want to ride this curb as you can easily lose the cart. Heavy braking into the penultimate corner. Doesn't really hit the apex, but now building up the throttle, and you just want the lap to be over with. And you want the line to come as soon as possible. As you cross the line, it's a 1 minute, 18.1 to only go 1.3 seconds off. So fair enough. What about Bluey then? As everyone else is starting their final runs. Bluey, the last car to set a time. 2 corners to go. In the Oscar Piastri helmet. At Albert Park, of course. An Australian drive, but we'll see what Bluey can do. The American goes really wide. DRS Open then. And can he beat Adam, probably his closest rival in the session? He crosses the line, and he's 5.7 seconds off the pace at the moment. Right, let's see what everyone else can do then. The fight for pole with 1 minute 20 left. Josh Hewitt, he's down by nearly a tenth and a half. Eggy, Sam, and Stelios still gearing up on theirs. Enric's found half a tenth. Ridian has found over half a tenth. Morgan entering turn 2 now. Chubster has found nearly 2.5 tenths. Laser on his outlap at the moment. No, these on his outlap. Laser currently through the final sector split. We got a yellow, and it is the Mercedes. I think Eggy was just getting out of the way of people. So, who's going to cross the line next? It's going to be Stelios to start his lap. And we'll see then. Laser to cross the line then. This will probably be his last go. Across the line, he goes into the top 10, and now we see Drifting about to start his lap. Ridian round the final corner. He's currently 4.5 tenths off pole position. He crosses the line. It's a 16.8 to put himself third, but here come the rest. Josh Hewitt does not improve unless he's going to go again. Across the line for the people behind, we see Chubster go up to 6, and the McLaren of Carborough, I believe, begin his lap. What about Eggy then? He's crossing the line to begin his lap. He'll be one of the last to cross the line. Here come the Red Bulls then of Enric and Thies. Thies starts his lap as well. And we see the RB, I believe, enter the pit lane. So, what about the Haas? Sam, he's also in contention. 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Morgan as he crosses the line. P8, Morgan, I believe, got in an incident with the Haas there. And the Mercedes of Lee crosses the line. He's got the Haas behind him, who could take pole position. Sam L, 16.4. That is going to take some beating. Sam L in his first race for EXFL Tier 2, reserving for the Haas, is currently on provisional pole. We have the Alpine of Stelios pulling over. That will be it then. P5 at best for one of the favourites in this race. And now we see what Drifting can do. He's invalidated after being half a second up. He may have, well, 8 tenths still, as we see another car pull over. Ridian's still going. And in front of him, he's slowing down, is Ridian. In front of him, there's another car as well. Christian, P11, Carbro to cross the line. Let's see what he can do. The McLaren goes up to 12th to make it a 6th row. Can anyone else challenge? There's an absolute car park in the final few corners. As we're seeing, is that Thies to cross the line then. Let's see what he can do. It's going to be a 17.8 to put himself P14. Laser 10th. Morgan 8th. Ridian 4th. That means for the season opener, on the day he literally joins the EXFL 2 by over 3.5 tenths, Sam L is on pole position for the season opener in Albert Park. Josh Hewitt on the front row with him. Eggy 3rd, Ridian 4th, Stelios 5th, Chubster 6th, Enric 7th, Morgan down in 8th. And who got the penalty? Adam. Yeah, he made contact with him, I believe, when Morgan was heading through the last corner. So I don't really know how much that lost him. So Adam will start 17th. Bluey will be promoted up 1 place. Drifting 9th. And Laser will complete the top 10. But yeah, Sam on pole. I'm being told Adam spun, and that's how he hit Morgan. Don't know how Morgan's been still facing forward. But yeah, that is quite the gap. It was close all session, and then one driver rose above the rest. But like I said, race pace is usually much closer than quali pace. Do not. Apparently Stelios was on a pole lap and his wheel disconnected, as well as drifting was also up by half a second, but he still needed to find 3/10 in the last sector, which he could have. So some missed opportunities there for some drivers. They'll have to go again next week in China. But yeah, sunny Melbourne. First time in, 4 years? We've returned to Australia as the season opener. We've had Bahrain for the last 3.5 under the night sky. Now it's sunny day in Melbourne. And it's a welcome return. Back where it all began for EXFL at the first race here in 2020. 5 years on. And Tier 2 is about to begin its 10th season. Of course, Formation Lap is now on, so we won't just have to wait for those ticking noises. It'll also introduce a bit of interest with when they park, and hopefully they don't hit each other and get disqualified and put themselves on the grid. Formation Lap begins then. Sam L leads them away. Josh Hewitt gets temp in his tyres. Can barely hear the cars for some reason. But yeah, let's see what the strategy is like. Everyone is on the mediums apart from Morgan Hughes on the soft compound tyres. He's going to hope to make his way through the field and gain some ground. But yep, no one deciding to start on the hard compound tyres to pit themselves on the mediums. Everyone's going to probably pit around the same time then. And obviously it is the first race of a new Tier 2 season. There are bound to be safety cars and VSCs, so I understand why there's no people choosing to put the hard compound tyres on. What's not a surprise though is that. Jesus Christ. So that's Laser, Christian, Carver, Lee, Thies and Nathan all put back on the grid already because they can't bloody, keep their tyres to themselves. But the top 9 behaving normally, as are Bluey and Adam, so good on them. It's actually 6 cars disqualified. But yeah, right. We'll put interval. Actually, we'll do that for the start because that's how it usually always looks. We'll disable that. We'll disable. We don't actually need that, to be honest. And the track map, to be honest, we know where we can see everyone in one image. I'll enable stuff in the first few laps, but right now this is the image we want and the only graphic we need. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Around the final few corners then to gear up temperature into their tyres, as Morgan's also been done for some reason, and Bluey. Don't know what's happened there. So that's about half the grid. Whoa, to be fair, it is Formation Lap. I bet a lot of them aren't used to it. It's just kicked me out of my party, and I was in voice chat with Bluey. That was interesting. But yeah, here we go then. Let's see who can get their spot on the grid right. Sam L positions his Haas car with a Max Verstappen helmet onto pole position. And let's see how close he wants to get. Let's see if he can do it right. He can. Josh Hewitt as well. Eggy. And here we go then. We're gearing up for the start of the EXFL Tier 2 Season X season. At Albert Park, the 5 lights are out. It's lights out and away we go. down under in Australia, and Josh Hewitt already looking to the inside line to try and take the lead away from Samel, who holds on to it. Eggy third, Ridian fourth, as they seem to all be able to be facing forward, and across the grass goes Drifting, and looks like all 17 have managed to be facing forward until Drifting gets hit in the wall again. Samel leads from Josh Hewitt, Eggy, Ridian, Morgan up to 5th, flying start from him on the softs, Enric 6th, Laser up to 7th as well. Once again, a brilliant start as the two McLarens have found themselves in the top 10. These as well, brilliant start from them. Bad start from Stelios, dropping out of the points already. Nathan up to 12th, Lee about where he is. Chubster also a bad start, I believe he may have wing damage. Adam, I think, staying where he is. Drifting, also down in P16, may have wing damage. We look to the front then, and Samel has held the lead from the Sauber. Drifting and Chubster fighting. I believe both have damage and may have to pit at the end. But yeah, quite a chaotic start at the front for the start of the season. And you can see them all single file there. Ridian trying to get some temperature in his tyres. Maybe even signalling to Morgan, I will not fight you because you're coming through the field quite quickly on those softs. But yeah, as Nathan already making more moves on Thieves. Thieves round the outside as Nathan... Oh, as there's a crash there with the McLaren of Christian dropping down the order. And Nathan barely gave Thieves, if he did even give Thieves any room there. But he's up into the top 10 on the opening lap. Let's see, biggest gainer right now is Nathan, who's made up 5 places as they cross the line. The top 4 stay where they are as Ridian's being under pressure from Morgan, who lets him go. And to his left is Enric trying to get a move. Late braking round the outside goes the Red Bull. Morgan slides, and that is a beautiful move for Enric to get himself into the top 5. Laser hanging on in 7th also. Once again, brilliant starter is the Williams. And yeah, really unfortunate for some drivers like Christian. And right, let's enable track map. As Enric unfortunately gets the first penalty of the race of the season. We'll enable everything now. 3 seconds. Right, there we go. Christian, did he pit? Wrong thing. No, don't, no. Chubster and Thieves fighting. Looks like Thieves dropping down the order, just holding on ahead of the Ferrari. And speaking of just holding on, it's Josh Hewitt keeping the Haas busy. I'll keep it there, right. As, yep, the top, 6, 7 are all in a train, but down the inside goes Carbro, trying to take 7th away from Laser, who hangs it round the outside and stays in front just about, but that has let the top 6 get away. This is the train then, as Laser holds off Carbro, who's got the DRS, who's in hot lap, switches to the inside quite late. Will Laser break later once again? Yes, he will. Thieves has left the session. Carbro squeezes Laser off the track, and hopefully Thieves can join back as Carbro has the DRS now to pull away. And under pressure now is Stelios to the inside of Laser as well. And Laser with his overtake on. Stelios in front just about until Laser gets a penalty and spins round. And Stelios as well gets tagged because of it. And Stelios has given up already. Crazy. Probably Laser's fault. Stelios gave him the room. And once again, Laser, to the shocker no one, has probably caused the first incident of the season. And off there in the gravel, there's another collision between Chubster and Drifting, who's not having a good first race again, like last season. Chaos everywhere you look. Oh my, I can't even pause it because look at this. Ridian's trying to get past Eggy. Ridian breaks a bit too late. Eggy tags Ridian! And Ridian hits the back of Josh, but Ridian has been tagged round. And now 6 become 5. If anything, it becomes 2 because look, Eggy's more than a second behind Josh Hewitt, who wants to win the opening round of the season again. Right, where's these? Let's see. Right, there we go. Into turn 1. Nathan is making moves, but he's under pressure from Lee. But Lee will stay behind. Nathan up to 8th now because of his amazing overtakes, but also due to gaining a bunch of positions from others making mistakes. Well, let me try that again. Right, lap 4 of this already very chaotic Australian Grand Prix. Chubster fixes his wing. Lee gets a penalty. Yeah, penalties are also going to be a huge thing in this race. Yellow for, I believe, Bluey going off there at turn 3. Has lost his whole front wing, I believe. He just went, you can clearly see, I think something's wrong with his wheel. And that's unfortunately disqualified him. I think his AI tried to get him out of the gravel. And that has put him 17th. And plumb last as Lee and Nathan are fighting once again. Lee to the inside of the fast chicane. And Sam versus Josh still remains. Josh hasn't tried to go yet as a Laser getting past Adam. Sliding around as Adam also slides. Probably wanted to catch that a bit earlier. Could have been a sick overtake if he went round the outside there. Christian missing some wing. We got a yellow, and it's Laser Gamer who's gone off, and there's a safety car because of it. As Josh Hewitt took the lead away from Sam into turn 1, and we have our first safety car because Laser's gone off and lost his whole front wing. Oh, you asked for... Well, you expected chaos. You got chaos. As into the pit lane. Hopefully they... It is kind of a difficult pit lane for these guys. Slow down. Oh my... Fair enough from Laser. Yeah, but they both have to change their wings, and Laser got it. Just checking the chats now for the reactions. Lee talking to Thieves. Want to see what Stelios said. Yeah, well, when you're against Laser, it's probably not going to end well. Right, safety car then. They're all going to change onto their tyres. I'm quickly going to message Stelios. Right, lap 6 of the Australian Grand Prix. They have caught the safety car. And I don't believe they're... Oh my god, into the wall. Enric. Who's also, I think, lost a bit of his wing. Yeah. I mean, they slowed down normally to catch the safety car. So unless Enric was just not aware... That's a big mistake from him. Nathan is 6th. Lee has a drive-through. Nathan is net 5th at the moment. Crazy. But yeah, they haven't pitted, those guys. Morgan Hughes will be the first driver who's pitted. Who pitted early, remember, because he was on the soft. So pits onto the hard compound tyres. Carbro as well. Laser. Christian. Thieves is out. What has happened to Thieves? On the main, on a straight. What has happened there? Unless he just left the session and the game's retired him. All sorts of chaos happening here. We have lost Bluey, who got disqualified. Yeah, these let, so it's retired him, unfortunately. That's really unfortunate. To start the season off, we got lost Bluey because he just got disqualified. Again, probably wheel issues. Stelios, because he got spun by a Laser and he gave up. These, also issues, which is really unfortunate. So, no actual game issues, just a lot of individual driver issues. There's down the inside. What's going on with Eggy and Sam? As Eggy's slowing them all up. And here we go again with the illegal overtakes. It's like Abu Dhabi last season. And now Eggy finds himself in front of Sam. We might see a penalty pop up. I don't know if the illegal overtake thing is going to still happen. Enric pits then. I don't know why he's got his overtake on. To change his wing. We'll probably put the hard compound tyres on to go to the end. I don't actually understand why some of them have stayed out. Surely the hards can go to the end. Adam finds himself up in 7th at the moment because everyone else behind has stopped. But fair enough, he's running in the points. Enric will exit the pit lane. There's Drifting, who's had probably an awful race so far. But it's not over. And Enric drops to the back. So, half the field have pitted, half have not. And if someone in the 5-lappers can explain to Thies that whole issue about, leaving and it can glitch and retire you sometimes. Thanks. Right then. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Eggy had a kind of a weird thing with Sam there on the last lap, and now he's found himself in front of him. And now Lee finds himself in front of Nathan. Oh, because Ridian's gone off. Under safety car, unfortunately. And does Carver have to give that place back? I think so. Right. 7 laps in, you can already tell this is going to be mayhem, as if it already hasn't had enough. Right. Put it back to penalties. Remember, Lee can only serve as drive-through when we're under green flag conditions, so he's going to drop right to the back as well for, I'm going to guess, speeding under it. But yep, Josh will lead, and I'm sure he's led a few restarts in his time in EXFL before, so I'm sure this will be okay. But yep, Eggy now finds himself ahead of Sam, because he got ahead of him under safety car or whatever. But Josh will now go when he wants and lead them away. The safety car's in the pits, and now Josh will put his foot to the floor, slides on the grass, and gears up to begin the restart. Lee from Nathan. Adam already in front of Ridian, who's pulling to the side, letting a lot of cars go. He may have damage. Into turn 1. Slight contact between Adam and Morgan. Adam rejoins, I guess, safely enough. Carbro gets in front of him, and now he's sliding all over left and right. Adam in the wall. Just unfortunately couldn't really find the time to race with these guys. Chaos as drifting slides back down the order, as Enric is back up into the top 10 after all that. Ridian down to 8th. We have another safety car, because Laser again has caused it. 2 front wings, 2 safety cars, same driver. And Eggy and Sam swapping again. Lee's going to get disqualified at this rate. If we have 3 in a row, I don't know. There was a glitch I remember happened once. Well, it's not glitch. It is technically right. And I will point out the penalty system we have. If you accumulate 15 points, you get kicked or demoted or whatever. Laser got 14 last season and just narrowly avoided it. But yeah, there's going to be I do remember Australia a couple seasons ago in Tier 1. There was like 18 incidents to be analysed. It was like the most we'd ever had. This could come close. Australia is quite a chaotic one. It's into the pit lane. Finally, Lee is not going to be able to serve his drive-through under safety car. They are pitting. And that means all of them are pitting. That means Hughes Morgan now takes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Started 8th. Had a decent start to 5th. Then kind of dropped down a bit. Pitted when it needed. And yeah. You pit that early. And there's barely any action. And the tyres don't get worn. So I'm pretty sure he's fine. Same with Carbro. Same with Arab. Same with Enric. And drifting is up to 5th as well. So Josh will exit in 6th. Ahead of Eggy. Ahead of Sam. Nathan is genuinely 9th. Brilliant drive so far from him to just, well, I guess keep it on the island. But yeah, he's up 6 places. Carbro as well, up to 2nd. Net 2nd, I think. Yeah. Fair play. Whoa. That was close. Someone nearly ran into the back of someone. I don't get why these guys don't just go in AI. Right, Lee. It's going to get bad to worse. He's still got to serve that drive-through. But at the moment, Christian, Laser, and Enric are the only ones with 3-second time penalties. Adam finds himself back down in 14th. Everyone has pitted at least once. Some twice. And now Morgan will lead the restart, which will probably be next lap. And Josh saying Morgan has luck, but then again, he could have also chose. He had the same opportunity to pit as Morgan did, but he didn't. So it's just right decision making. Is Eggy trying to let Sam back through? Potentially. I mean, it was like 3 odd laps ago, but oh well. We did put in a new rule about if you think, oh, it's into the pit lane, Laser. Just about doesn't speed. Nice. We did have a new rule about, you know, if you think you've overtaken someone illegally, you have 5 corners or whatever to give it back. Not 3 laps, like real life. Because, like, what if you do it on the last lap? Then what happens? And Thieves, fair enough, he's just not happy with his game kicking him off. Hopefully he'll come back next week. Would have been hard for him to get points anyway, probably today, but you never know. Right, we've had 2 safety cars, like I said, both caused by this guy losing a front wing. Adam, obviously, new to league racing and the F1 game, I think. So he got his first taste of racing with others. Didn't really go well. Christian, I think he's changed a wing already. Lee, he's going to be last because of his drive-through. Ridian, don't know how, but he went off here under safety car. But he's 10th at the moment. But he also got spun by Eggy-ish. So there's going to be a few things to look at. Nathan, one of the drivers of the day so far, because he's just hanging about in 9th in the points. Eggy, Sam and Josh have some work to do then. They were the top 3. Now they're down in 6th, 7th and 8th because the top 5 have pitted when it was perfectly timed. And drifting, after all that, finds himself 5th. Just shows EXFL, you could be last lap 1, last even with 10 laps to go and maybe still win. Enric finds himself 4th, even after his excursions. But the top 3, fair play to them, will gear up to begin the second restart. And hopefully we can get a lap of racing. Carbro literally pushing Morgan, getting alongside Morgan, which actually isn't allowed. As Morgan will begin the restart. There we go then. All of them in one image. And they gear up for the restart in Australia. No one really close enough or alongside to try and move into turn 1 then. All making it single file. Slight contact between the Williams and the Mercedes. As Nathan drops to 11th already as Ridian trying to gain ground. And a bit of contact down the inside goes Lee. As Enric's also trying to make a move on Drifting. Drifting stays where he is. And Josh Hewitt tags Drifting a little bit, but no love lost there. And going off there is Nathan and Laser once again. Also in the walls. Christian trying to get past Laser, who has wing damage again. That's a 3rd wing he's destroyed now. As Laser goes off, Christian narrowly avoids swiping him off. As Enric trying to blast his battery, trying to get past Chubster here for P3. They're going to go wheel to wheel, heading in to the fast left-right. And Enric to the inside takes the place. As Samel versus Josh Hewitt over the curb. Josh Hewitt now gets a 3-sec. So Samel getting past Josh. As Eggy also gets past the Sauber. Wheel-to-wheel stuff between the two. Drifting backs off. Josh versus Sam to the inside. Josh has the place at the moment. Barely gives Eggy any room and gets back in front. But we have had a lap of racing. Morgan, ignore the safety car in the top left. It's still the same as last season. Drifting gets in front of Chubbs, who gets it all wrong in the last couple corners. Drifting finds himself 4th now. It's Morgan from Carbro, from Enric. Drifting, Chubster, and Sam trying to have a little look to the inside. Going deep is the Ferrari, and now Chubster finds himself all over the back of the Ferrari, blasting his battery, going left. Chubster not really defending as much with his battery. Slight contact, and he's going to go round the outside, and he's tagged. Is Chubster round? Sam probably gave him enough room, but it was tight. Eggy, Ridian, Laser now gets another penalty. Christian down to 10th. Nathan down to 11th. Adam up to 12th. Chubster carries on then. Lee has served his drive-through. Morgan nearly has a 1-second lead over Carbro, who's under so much pressure from Enric, but is in hot lap to stay in front. Drifting, just trying to stick within a second of these guys. I think it's a double detection. Lee gets another time penalty. Nathan gets past Christian. It's all kicking off here. Laser struggling with that wing damage. And now Laser is under pressure from the RB. And he closes it off, does Nathan. Or gets closed off. Down the inside. Breaking way too late is Christian to send Laser off into the grass. What on just like Hungary last season, I guess. Really unfortunate stuff for him. Needs to learn how to brake. Morgan then has over a second gap ahead of Carbro. Enric pulls to the inside to try and take the fastest lap. Which is going to Sam at the moment. But Enric trying to take P2. Now has a run on Carbro. But Carbro using his overtake, trying to stay in front, using the DRS himself that he got somehow. And now we have 5 cars all within the span of a second, maybe even 6 or 7. Ridian just about on the brink, trying to stick with a second of Josh to hopefully carry on. Eggy's dropped even behind Ridian now. So the top 8 are gone. And Enric is right behind Carbro, who, well, at the moment it wouldn't think like you'd get DRS, and he hasn't. So surely Enric is going to fly past the McLaren, which he does. And this will surely get him in DRS of Morgan. Enric showing good race pace. Sam gets in front of drifting as Christian gets a time pen. And we're seeing good, well, DRS overtakes, but they're clean, they're good, and they're moving them all back towards Morgan, who's showing good pace himself, considering he's the one who doesn't have DRS. Sliding out there, Ridian. The top 8 leaving the rest behind. Nathan on his own a bit now, but in 9th, considering he started well down in, 15th. Laser also on his own a bit. Adam, currently 11th, but there is 14 now. Chubster, he's going to make his way back through the field. He can definitely get back into the points because of the time pens. As Carbro back in front of Enric, side-by-side stuff. And now Sam's in on the act as well. Hits the back of Carbro. And Drifting, watching this unfold as well, is all going to kick off into turn 3. Who's going to go for the move? Drifting trying to go around the outside as Sam pointing his car to the inside. Josh Hewitt has spun with Ridian as they tried a bit too much. Wheel-to-wheel stuff between the McLaren and Haas. And Carbro goes off as well. Sam finds himself third. The top 3 separated now. And like the reset of a season, they pretty much reset how to race one another. But yeah, bit too greedy here and there. Josh Hewitt tried to move to the inside, got spun, tagged Ridian with him. But amazingly, 3rd down to 8th is still within a second of one another. It's all kicking off a bit. But yeah, that's given Morgan a bit of breathing room there ahead of Enric, who's used a lot of his battery, to be fair, in a bid for his pace. And yeah, Sam was battling away with Carbro. And sometimes it's weird. The game kind of looks so weird, or if it's actually them. But they connected at turn 4, which as well, a lot of instances happen. And there's another one. Not at turn 4, but Christian's gone off at about turn 10, I believe. Kept his wing intact. Sam L trying to get back within a second of Enric. He moves behind. Nope, single file. As we're only halfway done with the race. And Sam L doesn't have DRS, but he is definitely within a second now of Enric, who's, yeah, trying to save some battery now. Morgan out in front, looking strong with his race pace. One of the favourites. Lee gets another time penalty. Nathan closing in a bit on Ridian, who's lost a second. Josh back up to these guys. I wouldn't say Josh has really caused anything today. He just got spun. So I believe that wouldn't really be a pen for him. But he's all over the back of Carbro, who's gone from 2nd to 3rd to 4th to 5th to 6th. May even be 7th now. But Josh with barely any battery to use. Carbro with plenty. Stays in front for now. And Enric finds himself under heaps of pressure from Sam L. Is he close enough for a move as Chubster gets past Adam? Goes defensive to Enric, and all over left and right, but just about holding on as they bounce over the red curve. And Samuel will have to try again into turn 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars within DRS of one another for 2nd place. And Josh all over the back of Carbro. Slides as I think he dipped a wheel on the grass. Good save from the Sauber. And looks like Enric has pulled a half a second gap. So he might just stay in front of Sam, but he's still looking to the inside, but he has to stay behind for now. And does he choose to stay behind now so he gets more on the middle straight? He's using his hot lap, and he's going to go to the inside, and he will take the position now. To the inside goes the Haas driver. Enric trying to hang it round the outside. Is he still going to keep his nose in there? Yes, he is. He's going to take the place back. Brilliant wheel-to-wheel stuff between turn 3 and 4 for the Haas and Red Bull. They're still going at it side by side. Little bit of contact now. Can they keep it wheel-to-wheel through 6 and 7? Just about forcing each other off the track a little bit, but they've managed to keep it intact. Flying on the straight now. It's all going to kick off. Here comes Drifting. Here comes Eggy. Slight contact between the Aston and Red Bull. And, yeah, you'd think Sam would be a sitting duck, but the contact has slowed them down a bit. Drifting around the outside, trying to get ahead of Enric. Slight contact or glitching. Enric loses it into Drifting, into Eggy. Big crash behind them as, unfortunately, that is very much so a deserved safety car. So unfortunate. But Enric's lost his left and right end plate. Debris all over the track. Enric went wide, lost the rear, collected poor Drifting, who's lost his whole front wing, and Eggy somehow survived that. I think with any damage. As Morgan's in, he's going to pit again. That leaves Sam to retake the lead ahead of Eggy. Carbro in as well. Josh following him in, so is Ridian. Drifting definitely needs to change his wing. What a chaotic race. But that was some brilliant battling between Sam and Enric. So unfortunate it had to end like that. Not really between them, but Enric just losing the car. Wow. And that allows Chubster, Lee, Adam and Christian, well, certainly Christian, to catch back up. And for once, the safety car wasn't caused by the guy in 10th. But I'll tell you what, though, he's changing his wing again. Nathan's third, man. What? This is, I mean, obviously he stayed out, but still crazy. I mean, Enric for some reason didn't pit, even though he's got damage on both end plates. Josh has pitted for the softs. Don't know about that, considering there's still 12 laps to go. But I don't hate it for Carbro has jumped Morgan as well, somehow. How's that happen then? Did Morgan have a slow pit stop? Whatever the case, Carbro now finds... This is crazy. Carbro now finds himself the net medium runner on fresh tyres. Wow. I mean, whatever the result of this race is going to be, it'll probably change a lot because of penalties, but... Yeah. Unbelievable. And we're getting a little close there, just sniffing the back of the sugar-free Red Bull. Now into the pits. Enric making sure, well, if anyone's listening, do not enter the pit lane if you're close to the safety car, and don't you dare overtake it, you'll get disqualified. It's happened quite a few times. Enric finally changes his front wing. Or not. You're missing both the end plates. How are you not changing your front wing? But he comes into the pits and puts new tyres on. Lee. That was a bit slow. Puts the softs on. Christian. Still not caught the pack yet. But yeah, Sam still leads. As Christian gets the 3-second to safety car. Lee exits the pit lane. Laser and Adam, 10th and 11th at the moment. But yeah, after all that, Sam started on pole and is currently first. You'd think it's been a boring race for him, but he's had to do a lot of work. Eggy, out of it all, is second still. Has been involved in a few things, to be fair. But he's up there, which is the key thing. And speaking of up there, Nathan, wow. I mean, he's going to get a lot of pressure from the cars behind as... Okay. Like, even under safety car, this guy just can't race. A bit of a gap there between, I think, the Williams and the Sauber is fine. I think the safety car... Well, it depends how quickly Christian catches these guys. What is going on? Illegal overtake, I'm going to guess, for Laser. So let's Chubster back through. Christian now catches the pack. The safety car might be in this lap then when he closes to within 10 car lengths of Lee. Okay. Enric hits Adam a bit there. But yeah, safety car's in this lap then. Sam will gear up for the third restart. Oh yeah, Carver went alongside Thingy, didn't he? Morgan at the restart. So if that's reported, he may be done. So Morgan's still looking strong. And Sam really slowing them down here. But he's gearing up. Looks like it's going to be a good restart for the Haas driver. Keeping a constant speed. I can't see that throttle moving at all until it goes to 100%. And you can already see Josh Hewitt trying to get the jump on Morgan on the soft compound tyres. But Morgan blasting his battery to stay in front. And Nathan just hanging on to the inside of Carbro, who's going to be all over the back of him. No DRS for this lap. And you can see Morgan is already trying to pounce on the McLaren. Which way is he going to go? Inside, outside? He's finding the inside. But the RB in front of him slows right down. And that allows Carbro to get in front. But Nathan gets tagged and goes down the order. He broke so early that it was actually quite a good avoidance from Josh Notzig's ram in the back of him and send him facing down. Adam down to 13th, Laser down to 12th, Lee up to 11th, Enric 10th, and Chubster literally pushing, drifting through the corner as they are trying to get on to the back of Nathan. As we see a yellow, and that is Laser. Round. Sam then still leads from Eggy. Carbo now up to 3rd. Morgan 4th. Josh 5th. Ridian 6th. Nathan 7th. Drifting, closing right up to the back in 8th. Enric now 9th as Chubster in 10th. Do we see a move? We got a yellow, and Laser is... it's a VSC, but Laser's out. Ridian gets a 3-second. Yeah, Laser is now out of the race on a straight. Now it's a safety car. The 4th safety car. To be fair, it is Australia. This is probably prone. Eggy pits then. It's certainly going to help the tyre life of the sauce, but as soon as I say that, Josh is in again, so that didn't matter. Nathan enters the pit. So does Chubster. So does Lee. That'll promote Christian up to about 7th or 8th. 7th is Adam at the moment. Christian with a lot of time pens though. Same with Lee. And Josh, Adam, Enric and Ridian have 3s as well. So Eggy puts the soft compound tyres on with 9 laps to go. Chubster talking about his gears, I think. They're not working or something. Apparently, Lucas got on the grass on the straight, and that is what made him lose it into the wall, I think, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we've lost Laser Gamer, who caused 2 of the 4 safety cars. Sorry, 3 of the 4 safety cars. The other one was caused by Enric losing it into drifting and Eggy. We've lost these because unfortunately he left the session. Well, he didn't, but it kicked him out and it retired him. We lost Stelios, who just retired because Laser spun him. But he knows now not to do that again. And we lost Bluey, I guess, because he also had some issues and the AI reversed him and disqualified him. Crazy race. Tier 2 is officially back. And out of it all, we've seen some pretty good driving, though. Like that wheel-to-wheel battle between Sam and Enric was great. I think it was those 2. And they're rookies, so at least in this tier. But yeah, at the moment, the safety car will be out for 1 more lap. Let's take a look at the tyres. Sam L currently holding out on 11-lap-old hard compound tyres. Carbro up there with 3-lap-old mediums. Morgan also there. He's going to have to do some overtaking, though. But I'm sure everyone is probably under investigation for something. As into the pit lane is Chubster. Change of tyres. Another set of mediums. So yeah, 6 people behind Sam L on mediums. Christian up in 8th. Eggy, Josh, Nathan and Lee. But mainly Eggy and Josh have got some overtaking to do, as they find themselves down in 9th and 10th. And with so many, it still says VSC, but with so many safety cars, when was the right safety car to pit here and there? That could probably win you the race. The thing is, the game only allows 5 safety cars, as Christian gets a 5th penalty under safety car. The game only allows 5 safety cars a race. We've had 4, but technically we had a VSC that turned into a safety car. I do not know if that counts as 1 or 2. So if there's a big crash in like the last 8 laps and there's nothing, then it does count as 2. But at the moment, I think we have 1 more safety car token if needed. We went, the first 6 laps without one? And then in the span of 15 laps, we've had 4 safety cars. As Christian's unfortunately left the session. At the restart, that's going to be fun. I mean, Eggy hopefully is experienced enough to know he can't overtake that car before the line. He better not even get alongside it or anywhere near it, because that AI is going to wiggle and lose him a lot of time, and it's going to help not help Josh either. Eggy weaving there. Don't know if he's listening and complying, or he's just trying to get temperature in. They're all weaving, trying to get temperature in as well. So Sam will lead the next restart, hopefully the final restart of the race. And we'll gear up for the final 8 laps of the Australian Grand Prix to determine the winner. And at the moment, it is going to be Sam who's leading them. and now goes full throttle. Goes exactly at the same time he did last time, but Carbro not phased by it, sticking with the Haas car. Morgan just trying to keep a little bit of distance as Eggy does get past Christian, and I think the right spot, so that's good. Enric gets another time penalty, and Christian will drop down the order because he's in AI. And now Chubster is trying to get ahead of Nathan and Lee, banging wheels, but Lee gets in front. Down the inside goes Josh on Eggy, trying to make the place, and he does. So Josh in front now. All happening now as Sam drops from the lead to third, as going over the curbs is Ridian. Under pressure from Drifting out of nowhere. Round the outside, Drifting goes in. Ridian goes into Drifting there a bit, makes him lose the rear a bit, and dropping down the order is Enric in the gravel, unfortunately. Chaos surprising no one. As now Ridian gets past Drifting, and Morgan is on the back of Carbro, who leads the Australian Grand Prix. Drifting and Ridian, wheel-to-wheel stuff between the Williams and Aston. Ridian dances around the outside to take fourth, as Josh making moves on Adam now. And will Eggy also try and move? Adam goes defensive to the inside. Eggy will try and go around the outside, then goes deep and nearly runs into the back of Josh. And Eggy avoids Adam here and there, left and right, as Lee is also trying to do the same. Does he spot a gap? The Ferrari as well. Lee to the inside. Adam turns in. Contact between the Mercedes and Haas. Adam stays in front. And now the Ferrari is also getting in on as well. And they just about all face forward. Ridian's under serious pressure. No battery for him. Drifting. Probably annoyed because the top three are getting away. Carvo now gets a 3-second time penalty. If the win didn't look already more in Morgan's hand, it definitely does now. And Drifting could still find himself on the podium after being last at the end of lap one. Last and down the inside. Josh, brilliant awareness from Drifting there to turn out. That would have definitely been him spinning around, and Josh definitely with a penalty. But Drifting really on edge here. And can definitely, yeah, like I said, find himself at the podium. DRS then for the Aston Martin is going to be coming up. And he should probably fly past. Drifting has used enough battery to go around the outside and get himself up in a fourth. Christian back in. Hasn't lost too much time. Nathan and Chubster fighting. As well as Adam, who's fighting up in the points at the moment. And Enric pitted, so he will be down the order. Sliding out is Sam on pretty worn hards. But he's just about sticking within a second of Morgan and Carbro. Morgan knows he doesn't really have to try anything stupid, because not only does Carbro have a 3-sec, he may be under investigation for some other things. We see them round the final corner then to start lap 24! Into the wall! Sam spins round and drops down the order. Unfortunately, I think he also has damage to drop down the order and add another twist to this race. And Christian pulls to the right for some reason. But Sam, it was going so well until it wasn't. And into the wall, Christian, as Carbro stays in front of Morgan, who's trying to get the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Here and there, action everywhere, chaos and carnage. Christian lost it at the first chicane, and his teammate is leading. But for how much longer? Because Morgan has the battery. Now he has the DRS, and he has the slipstream to take the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. He pulls to the outside, and it's going to be P1 for the Alpine. He gives him as much room as possible. Morgan Hughes leads the Australian Grand Prix, and the crowd goes wild, drifting up to third. But for how much longer? Ridian now trying to take it back from him to the inside, and looks like he will get the place. And if they can work together close enough, they can try and get towards the top two. Eggy and Josh fighting again. Wheel to wheel between the Mercedes and the Sauber. Eggy, slight contact, but gets the place fair enough. Lee losing the rear a bit there, as he's up to 7th now. But with all those penalties, you could also find Chubster maybe getting a top 5 place. So look at this. 2 cars, 2 cars, 2 cars, and 2 cars. For the top 8 as Lee. What is he doing as Chubster trying to go left and right to get the place. Lee breaks later and tags Chubster around. Josh now gets a penalty. Do not know what Lee's thinking there. And Lee also gets another penalty as, look at this, Nathan threading his way in between Chubster and Lee. Lee to the inside, trying to defend, lets him go, and lets Chubster go as well. That was pretty awful driving from the Mercedes as Adam's trying to get past Lee as well, but can't quite do it. At the moment, Adam is looking for points, but Sam, his teammate in this race, I was going to say could take it away from him, but he's pitted. And into the wall as soon as I say that. Adam's into the wall. Don't know how. It's going to be like 50 things to look at. Oh, it's close. But it's not close enough for Alex to get past Ridian. But now it is. He puts him under a lot of pressure to get back up onto the podium, and a P2 is now on the cards for the Aston Martin. As going off wide a bit is Carbro, but he's sticking with Morgan. We're running out of laps here. As Eggy finds himself in the top 5, Josh Ewart's dropped 2.5 seconds for some reason. Made a big mistake. He's got 6 seconds of pens. 2 laps ago he had no pens. So yeah, we'll see what he can do. Probably one of the top 5 is going to win this race. At the moment, it's still Morgan. And, well, I think when they finish this lap, there won't be any more chance of a safety car. But yeah, wow, crazy race so far. And it's not over yet. 3-car fight for the final spot on the podium on track, and still a fight for the win on track 2. Chubster, a bit on his own in 7th. Nathan is 8th at the moment. To score 4 points in the opening race will be brilliant for him. Lee, a lot of pens, plus some grass on his tyres. Adam currently finds himself in a points-paying position on debut. He's missing half his wing, though, I think. Yeah. So if we look to leader, your 3 seconds is going to be close. One of the Haas cars is going to get a point, but which one will it be? Because Sam is gaining heaps of time on Adam with Enric. The 4 rookies this race, well, Stelios has retired. Enric's last. Sam is second last. And out of all 4 rookies, Adam is beating them all at the moment when he was last, as Drifting and Ridian and Eggy are getting too close for comfort here. And Drifting still in front of Ridian. Eggy onto the gravel there. Kicking off. They're fighting like it's the last race of the championship. It's the season opener, for crying out loud, as Drifting trying to hang on. He's been through hell and back as Christian gets in front of Adam. Not going to matter because Christian has so many penalties. But unfortunately, Sam has caught the 3-second gap to Adam. So it looks like the point will be his. Just missing out on points, unfortunately. Unless someone makes a big mistake like that with Christian. I know it's been a month, but a lot of these guys have just forgotten how to race. As Adam just lets Sam go, and Enric will close up to the back of him too. Morgan still holding on to the lead ahead of Carbro. Drifting has caught these guys, and it's not out of the question that Drifting could potentially win this race. Drifting versus Morgan, the old teammates. Morgan stayed at Alpine. Drifting across the winter went to Aston Martin, and now he could find himself potentially fighting for the win as Carbro takes the lead away from Morgan. Now Drifting sets his sight on his old teammate. As we have a yellow into turn 3, Enric drops down. That allows Adam to have some breathing room. Eggy gets in front of Ridian, who's probably made another mistake at that chicane, unfortunately. So Eggy also now makes it a 3-way fight for the win. Morgan versus Drifting versus Eggy. The top 3 from last season. When you take away all the others who got promoted, I think. But yeah, 3 big names with some other names who are probably going to not win because of penalties, but you never know. Eggy has to make sure he's within a second. He's using his battery, trying to gain on Drifting, who's low on battery. 2 laps to go then. We've had 4 safety cars. We've had so many crashes. We've had so many battles. But now it's the battle for the win. It's Drifting versus Morgan with Carbro to join the fight. Drifting, which way is he going to go? He's going to go around the outside, switch to the inside, but he can't really find a gap at the moment. This is allowing Eggy to close in, and it's a 3-way fight. And Morgan is going to get the DRS until he loses it. Morgan into the wall and drops down the order. And the chance of victory on the penultimate lap that's been so secure for so many laps has lost out of his grasp. And now it's Drifting versus Eggy for the win. And Drifting out of it all. He was last at the end of the first lap. And now on the penultimate, he finds himself in the net lead. But Eggy on those softs is closing in on him. But how much life is left in them? Morgan could still find himself on the podium here if he can just gain within a few tenths. But the victory has slid out of his grasp. Australia proving to be so difficult in terms of traction for these guys. The surface only to surface and carcass has really proved to be quite the difference here. It's a big factor, but it's a deserving factor. And it's seeing who can come out on top through it all to be even more impressive. We start the last lap then. Drifting, trying to go for the win. Carbro is playing DRS chicken and lets Drifting go. But Eggy's all over the back of Carbro now, who doesn't have DRS. And Eggy's going to try and blast everything as Morgan gets a penalty. Eggy to the inside. Can he get the move done? Late on the brakes goes Eggy. So close to contact. They're wheel to wheel. This is allowing Drifting to get away. And Eggy tries to switch, but Carbro stays in front. We got yellows in the back of the field. Drifting has over a second advantage, but he barely has any battery. But same does Carbro, to be honest. Eggy's going to blast everything in a bid to gain, 1.5 seconds. Ridian all over the back of Eggy as well. Eggy, which way is he going to go? Outside. Ridian with the slipstream. But he can't find a way. His path is blocked. Eggy will take second ahead of Carbro. Ridian versus Carbro for P3. This is for position. And Ridian takes the place as Eggy's not close enough. They battled too much. And it looks like there's going to be no more overtakes unless anyone sends it. And that is it. Through it all. Through all the chaos. Can you believe it? Drifting 096207 has played his cards perfectly throughout so much chaos and carnage. Drifting, he moved teams over the winter. He went to Aston Martin. He won the championship last season with the constructors. This season, he starts his bid for the drivers. Drifting wins the Australian Grand Prix. Eggy finishes second. Ridian comes home for third to get the podium. Carbro fourth. Chubster gets fifth because of the penalties. Morgan sixth. Josh Hewitt, he'll be disappointed with 7th. Lee will come home in 8th, but it won't be 8th. It will be 8th for Nathan. Points for the RB team. And Sam, on his debut, will be 9th. Lee, I think, will just hold on to P10 for a point. What a race. Christian, with gravel and damage and penalties, will probably finish last, I'm not going to lie. Enric will be 11th. Adam, P12 on debut. It's not last. And it's a start. What a race. The expense of it all. Wow. There we have it. After, a season and a bit ago, when Drifting lost the win because he battled and got held up in the last stages of the race on the last lap. Well, on the last lap, Fate has decided to do the 180, let some other people battle, and Drifting takes home the win. It's come full circle. Drifting now leads, as long as, doesn't get any penalties, but there will be a lot, I'm sure, after this race. But at the moment, Drifting leads the World Championship and has won for the second time in EXFL Tier 2. Of course, he got his first win at the Italian Grand Prix last season after the race because of pens. But at the moment, Drifting has won, finally on track to start the season off in perfect fashion. What a drive from the Aston Martin. And let's get the top 3 in the party for interviews. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Yes, it was chaotic as F, but still, that's what you're going to expect with Tier 2. That's what you're going to expect with the new season. After a whole month of no racing with new drivers, different teams, whatever. But through expense of it all, there were some gem moments there. Right. Drifting. Oh yeah, I can't get Eggy in the party, can I? Oh, that's unfortunate. But anyway, second place for him. Second podium at Melbourne as well. And he's definitely in the fight. Drifting and Ridian. Alright, there we go. We'll just wait for them to join. There he is. Right. Have you included your audio, mate?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Then we'll hopefully Ridian will join in a second. But anyway, Drifting 09, you have just won the Australian Grand Prix, the season opener for Tier 2 Season X, and you were last pretty much at the end of lap 1, and you have just come home to win. How are you feeling?
Not bad for someone who didn't practice until today. Let's just say that.
Fair. So just take us through. Where did you qualify? You qualified what?
I qualified P2. I
Ninth?
invalidated my final run. No, not P2.
Oh,
I
right.
qualified P9. I invalidated my final run. I would have been P1.
Yeah, I saw you were half a second up at the second sector. There were a few people, mainly you and Stelios, who had a pole time, but you invalidated or messed up or something, unfortunately. So there's still more in it for next week onwards, etc. But you started ninth. Then what happened?
Turn 1 was just damage limitation. Just avoid it, because let's be honest, new season, new people, no clue how everyone's going to drive, so we had to play it cautious in turn 1.
And then at the end of sector 1, we saw you, I think, off into the gravel and
Oh,
dropped. You may have been last or second.
yeah, I
last,
was
or
last.
What happened there?
Something happened ahead, I think, and then Chokester just decided to send a torpedo down the inside, putting us both out. Well, not out, but
And then it was a bit of trying to get back through the field, and then a big help was your strategy. You pitted, I think, the first safety car, and then by the second or third, you were up in fifth.
Yeah, to be fair, it did help.
And then you obviously fought your way towards the top 5, top 3, having a few nice battles, saving your battery when it mattered. Found yourself on the back of Morgan, and then what was your reaction to your old teammate losing it at the end of sector 1 towards the end?
I think Ridian came back. Oh wait, no, he was on mute. I was just saying, like, Ridian's lost it, And then, because we had Seb in the call, he was watching your stream, he said he lost it off his front wing. What?
Morgan, right? Morgan lost it, not Ridian.
Yeah, Morgan.
Yeah.
Did I say
Ridian?
Ridian?
Yeah.
Did I say
Yes, you did.
He said Ridian.
Sorry, Ridian.
Ridian lost it. Ridian lost what?
Yeah, so,
yeah, Morgan lost it into the wall. That allowed you to take the place on him, and then you obviously had the DRS and Carbro, and then Carbro decided to fight the Eggy,
I know,
which allowed you to have more than a second.
I mean, I don't stream my audio, but I said some explicit things about Carbro, which are going to stay private, unless the stream ends, and then I can share it.
But anyway, it's like I was just talking about. It's done a full 180. Just over a season and a bit ago, on the last lap, you were fighting others, losing time, and just narrowly lost the win. This time round, other people are fighting, losing time, and you have now got the win, fully deserved, on track. Unlike Italy, where you got it post race. I really hope you didn't get involved in any incidents today, but did you?
Oh, he did.
Do you think your
he
fault
did.
or?
But
I can remember the Ridian thing, but
I don't think I did in a few, but I don't think they were all my fault.
All right. Anyway, I'll move on to Ridian in a sec, but just for now, at least from game result, what a drive! Brilliant way to start the season. You've moved from Alpine, and I was talking about you won the constructors in the last race. That was pretty much all you, and now you've moved teams, and I think your aim is, the other title now, the drivers, and you have certainly started it off in very good fashion. So well done, and we'll move on to Mr. Sheep, Ridian, P3. Did you expect that?
One more. Back in the podium behind. Back in.
Where did you qualify?
Back in fourth.
Fourth, right.
Fourth, yep.
And for most of the race, you were pretty much around there. You did drop a bit lower towards the bottom 10 when you had some incidents and such. The first one I want to talk about, okay, just because it's Australia doesn't mean, the 90-degree corner, what happened there? You spun or something?
Which one?
There's a lot of 90-degree.
There's lots of 90-degree corners here. I think half the track's 90 degrees.
What do you call it?
I think I know the one you're on about.
The fourth last corner.
Yeah. As soon as the VSE came out, I was trying to stop, and I couldn't stop in time to, either I'm going right and trying to avoid contact with Josh, or I'm going left and definitely punting Josh. So I took the risk of right and pretty much cut the entire track just to try and not hit Josh. But it was good because I about broke myself and I couldn't stop because I got shocked with the VSE.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a mistake,
Right,
nothing really came from it except for my pen.
You kept making your way up through the field, position after position. That fast chicane just before that 90-degree, I think you were struggling quite a bit on it.
No.
Going wide here and there.
Yeah,
on the safety car, you literally went across it.
Yeah, that was my AI. I went out into AI, and he just decided to drive me off track into the grass.
Oh damn.
Yeah, but I had pace with the chicane. I couldn't. I was always falling behind people, so I hadn't do it yet. But yeah, it was one of my best parts. I just couldn't really get to show my pace a lot. I was always caught up and shit.
But then at the end of the race, the final few laps, you found yourself fighting some people. So what happened between you and Drifting then?
Basically, this man is a caveat on cocaine.
Right.
Trying to
And that means
I was ahead going into the fast chicane. He had his nose right up, like next to me, and we were going into the corner. He was nowhere near, and I have to back off when he's nowhere near me, or we just crashed into the wall. So I had to let him through.
you didn't crash though, did you?
And that's how he got
Yeah.
past me in the end, because I literally couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. And then at the end, you got Carbro at the fast chicane on the last lap.
Literally, I
That
clutched up.
was for position. But I think Carbro, if reported, will get a penalty when alongside Morgan for one of the restarts when he was second.
Couldn't take the risk,
But
so I had to try
it might not
get
get
it.
reported. You never know.
Mm.
It's always best to do it on track
Yeah.
and such instead of waiting for after because it might not happen.
Mm.
But yeah, you said before the race, I want to get a podium or hope for a podium. You got your podium. Similar start to last season actually.
Yeah, I came
you
third.
got the podium as well in Bahrain.
Although,
yeah, exactly. So
very
you
different.
started
I
off
think
the
I did in
same.
Bahrain. I got taken out and I was like in Bahrain.
Oh yeah.
then
No, I think
Australia
because of
got third.
post-race pens, you got third
Did I?
or something, or fifth.
I
don't
got
know.
fourth. I got fourth.
Fourth. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was fourth. Yeah. So one better than last season. You got your podium back for the season opener.
Yeah.
And yeah.
This is
I
definitely
think
my
final
last
question to
season,
you both.
like, for good. So
Yeah,
I just
fair.
want to have a fun time this time.
Question to you both: what's the aim for this season? The championship, or well, it probably is, but like, what are you hoping to get out of this season? Drifting, you go first.
Record smashed.
Record smashed, love it.
That is champion.
Drifting 09, and obviously the record is 9 wins, so you never know. Ridian, what about you?
Just have fun. Just enjoy your life before your
Just to have
retirement.
fun.
I will just say,
Nice.
Jaden, I'm no longer the youngest person in the league.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a few under now.
Wait, what?
But,
Few?
1 or 2.
Yeah, I know Sam's under
think.
my age.
I think Adam is as well.
No fucking way.
Yeah. Anyway, that has been the opening round to Tier 2 Season X. Drifting takes the win. There will be probably a lot to look at after the race in the following week. But we will see you next week at China for the second round of Tier 2 Season X. Yeah, what a race at Melbourne.
That's my one race win streak gone then.